Bharani Nakshatra is like the seed of creativity through the process of conception, like a baby, wherein this idea gets to go through time and space to be able to transform into its higher manifestation, which is representative of the karma of our actions, and only through the means of nourishment and love is that life able to transcend from the realm of life and death. Once it has seen, observed, and learned all there is to survive and grow, it starts the next journey from this enclosed space that is caging its process and moves through the vaginal canal of its bearer or mother. This process of bringing life into the world is one filled with pain and suffering, yet it is essential to harvest the fruit of one's union. After undergoing a process closely akin to death, the mother finally brings a new life into the world and hence continuing the cycle of death and rebirth. As this process of learning through one's pain gets done, can only then the bearer enjoy the fruits of their labor, which becomes the child. Jupiter's transit into Bharani Nakshatra will bring you opportunities for personal growth and transformation through intense experiences or profound changes. This transit could invite individuals to confront their fears, face their limitations, and embrace personal evolution. Hi lovely viewers, and welcome back to the channel. In this video we will be discussing the recent nakshatra movement of Jupiter into Bharani Nakshatra and understand how it's going to affect our personal development and evolution now that it is also aspected by the retrograde Saturn, as well as be impacted by the soon-to-be retrograde Venus as its lord of this nakshatra. This complication of energies is what we will be dissecting for each of the 12 zodiac signs to uncover how it will be impacting your relationship to others as well as yourself during this period. If you are interested to learn more about this as well as other concepts of astrology, then please do not forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so that you can stay updated with all the new content being released. Let us begin by first understanding the themes related to Bharani Nakshatra. Bharani Nakshatra is the second one in the nakshatra belt of 27 lunar constellations. The ruling planet of this nakshatra is Venus, and its symbol is that of a yoni or a female reproductive organ. Also, the word Bharani itself means one who bears. When we put together all these significations, we understand that this nakshatra is closely related to the feminine energy and fertility. Now, the deity of this nakshatra is Lord of Death and Justice, Yamaraj. Yama plays a vital role in rejuvenation and maintaining the balance of the world through the continuous cycle of birth and death. The soul of a dead person is made to appear before him, and he passes the judgment according to the deeds that one has carried out in their earthly plane. He is also referred to as Dharmaraja due to his unwavering commitment to maintain order and harmony. And because of this reason, Bharani Nakshatra is also referred to as a Krura or Ugra Nakshatra, which means fierce and harsh, because it deals with themes of death, responsibility, forbearance, morality, karma, and hence is also known as the star of restraint. Now, when we collaborate the significations of Bharani Nakshatra and that of Jupiter, we see that the following energies get amplified during this transit. Growth and abundance. Jupiter's presence in Bharani Nakshatra may bring about opportunities for growth and abundance in various aspects of life. It can signify material prosperity, career advancement, and personal development. Transformations. Bharani Nakshatra is associated with transformation and rebirth. When Jupiter transits this nakshatra, it can indicate a time of personal transformation where old patterns and limitations are shed and new beginnings emerge. Creative expression. Bharani Nakshatra is connected to artistic and creative expression. The influence of Jupiter can enhance these qualities during this transit, encouraging individuals to explore their creative talents and pursue artistic endeavors. Emotional intensity. Bharani Nakshatra is known for its intense and passionate nature. Jupiter's presence may amplify emotions and intensify experiences during this period. It is important to channel these emotions constructively and maintain balance. Self-reflection and inner work. Jupiter transit through Bharani Nakshatra can prompt individuals to engage in self-reflection and inner work. Can be a time for introspection, addressing deep-rooted issues, and working towards personal growth and self-improvement. Relationships and sensuality. Bharani Nakshatra is associated with sensuality and passion in relationships. Jupiter's transit may enhance the romantic and sensual aspects of relationships, bringing about deeper connections and intimacy. Now that we have understood what kind of general planetary energies present themselves when Jupiter transits Bharani Nakshatra, let us now dive deeper into this particular transit and how other planetary transits that are either aspecting or is its planetary deity and dispositors will change the flavor of this transit. As we know, Bharani Nakshatra is ruled by the planet of Venus, as it is its planetary lord. But meanwhile, it is also influenced by its sign dispositor Mars, as this nakshatra resides within the sign of Aries. It's interesting to see that in the month of July, we have a conjunction of Venus and Mars initially that is being aspected by Jupiter in Bharani Nakshatra by its 7th aspect. And this shows us that the central theme of this energy can be how you would balance your relationships with others as well as yourself as you navigate these congruent energies, causing major transformations and catalytic shifts in your dynamics. You are going to need to balance out your sense of self and ego with your dedication to compromise or sacrifice in relationships with others. Meanwhile, as you deal with these blockages in your love life, we will also hit the next consequential transit influencing this energy, which is the retrograde Venus that will take place on 23rd of July and go on until the 4th of September. This will further impact all significations of love and money in our lives, and also the transiting Jupiter too, because the planetary lord of Bharani Nakshatra is Venus, and this will represent itself in a retrograde manner, which will happen in ASHLESHA Nakshatra. This nakshatra is associated with serpent energy and is ruled by the deity Naga of divine serpents. When Venus goes retrograde in ASHLESHA Nakshatra, it may intensify emotions and bring forth deep-seated issues related to relationships, intimacy, and healing. This period can also potentially reveal hidden desires, fears, and patterns that need to be addressed. It may also be a time of introspection and transformation, urging individuals to confront their emotional vulnerabilities and seek personal growth. Combining the energies of Venus retrograde in ASHLESHA Nakshatra with Jupiter's transit into Bharani Nakshatra may intensify the transformative energy and emotional depth of this period. The combination could potentially bring to the surface unresolved issues in relationships, personal desires, and aspects of the self that need healing. It may prompt individuals to re-evaluate their values, confront their fears, and embark on a journey of self-discovery and transformation. A very interesting observation of the play of the nakshatra energies of retrograde planets is that while Venus is going to be retrograde from 23rd of July to the 4th of September, Jupiter will go retrograde right after this transit from the 4th of September until 31st of December, which means that all the significations that we have been discussing regarding this transit are going to get that much more difficult to navigate and make sense of during this phase of time. Keep a check on what events you are being exposed to or having to deal with in this time period before the Venus and Jupiter retrograde, as they might be the key issues that you might eventually struggle with concluding later. But not just this transit alone will impact Jupiter, as the recently retrograde Saturn in Aquarius is also going to aspect both the Jupiter in Bharani Nakshatra and also the transiting conjunct energy of Venus and Mars in Leo during July. We notice that the retrograde Saturn will be putting its third aspect onto Jupiter. When Saturn is in retrograde and aspects Jupiter, it signifies a potential interaction between the energies of these two planets. Saturn represents discipline, responsibility, limitations, and long-term planning, while Jupiter symbolizes expansion, growth, wisdom, and abundance. A retrograde motion of Saturn intensifies the energy that may bring about a more introspective and reflective period. It could prompt you to reassess your commitments, structures, and goals, encouraging you to re-evaluate your long-term plans and make necessary adjustments. This aspect may bring a sense of caution and pragmatism to Jupiter's expansive influence, urging you to consider the practical implications of your endeavors and take a realistic approach. Additionally, the transit of Jupiter into Bharani Nakshatra can add a layer of significance. Bharani is associated with themes of birth, creation, sensuality, and the power of transformation. It is ruled by the deity Yama, the lord of death and divine judgment. This nakshatra's energy can be intense and transformative, encouraging you to confront and release old patterns, habits, or attachments that no longer serve your growth. When Jupiter transits Bharani, it can amplify its transformative qualities, potentially bringing opportunities for personal growth and profound changes in various areas of your life. Combined with the retrograde aspect of Saturn, this transit may emphasize the need to let go of outdated structures, beliefs, or responsibilities that hinder your progress. After having discussed how the planetary energies collaborating and aspecting with Jupiter's transit in Bharani Nakshatra will impact all of us collectively, let us now jump on to understanding how this transit will impact each of the zodiac signs. Aries, for you, this year has been one filled with massive transformations and changes in your relationship to self, be it self-love, self-worth, or self-effort. And with this transit, this theme of self-discovery will continue further as you set to transform your reality. You are right now focusing on bettering your own goals, personality, physique, and skills. And with all that focus on self, you are going to struggle with formulating romantic relationships. With a lot of changes and boundaries being discovered now, through the process of filtering your circle of friends or network circle who hinder or obstruct your growth, you will struggle with opening up about your deepest emotions to your loved ones. Focus on formulating techniques of self-regulation and depending less on others to aid your self-development. You will need to grapple with how you approach ways to self-soothe and bring stability to your emotional response, as the significations related to even your relationship with your mother can be affected during this time period. Taurus, for you, we see that this time period of Jupiter's transit through the Bharani Nakshatra will make you really transform your ideals relating to your self-identity. You will be in the process of shedding away certain belief systems or certain values that you held close to your identity right now. But you might feel that in this process of losing and transforming, that you could be right now curtailed or be restricted by certain societal cues or superior authority to you who is right now enforcing you to stay in line with their own set of rules or expectations. And this is where this internal conflict will arise as to, do you want to follow those set rules, or would you want to break them away and process your own identity through the process of loss and transformation? And this can also impact your home life, as this authority that we speak of can actually be your own parents and especially your own mother. So there can be this sort of tussle between the authority that your mother might have in your own process of identity development, and the kind of authority that you seek for yourself to be able to determine who you really want to be. And which kind of values do you want to attain and keep in order to transform into your higher being or your next evolution? And this can further make it difficult for you to be able to communicate on the kind of hardships that you might face while dealing with these sort of issues. And this is where you will have to work hard to not let such roadblocks be able to deter your process of transformation and evolution. Gemini, for you, the transformations are going to come about in the field of the kind of company that you keep, be it your friends or your network circle. And how do you let the ideals or the philosophies that are related to your groups influence your own identity? Which is how you will have to determine what kind of company do you want to keep in order to really align with the kind of values and the kind of morals that you feel intrinsically define you. This is where you can feel that your previous set of ideals or belief systems relating to religious, spiritual, or philosophical ideals will restrict that process of shedding away the kind of people who you think are not conducive to your transformation or evolution at this point. And this can also trickle down into the kind of wish fulfillment or dreams that you are currently harboring or you're currently thinking about, being able to manifest higher financial gains, which is how you will have to be very careful to communicate in the best way possible in order to be able to manifest those kind of monetary aspirations for yourself, because it will get intrinsically harder for you as Venus retrogrades in your second house to be able to really retain or basically stabilize your income and create that sort of sense of security through financial stability. And this is where your trials or transformations are going to come through. For you Cancers, the major transformations that you will face during this time period is going to be related to your work or your profession and how you deal with authority and your superiors during this time period. And this kind of transformation can further be sort of restricted by the kind of sudden events that you might feel keep cropping up, wherein you are being right now forced to be able to make yourself adaptable and make yourself flexible enough to be able to weather the changes and transformation that is taking place in your work, career, and your professional profile. You also have to remember that you have to be very careful regarding how you deal with your finances and how you deal with basically talking about your struggles. When Venus goes retrograde in your first house, you will have to really struggle with your public image gets affected. This is going to really impact how you're going to be perceived by people and especially your superiors. So be very careful of how you're able to project yourself to people and hone in the skills to be able to have a very stable approach to the kind of changes that are taking place in your life, because these transformations will finally be able to make you really achieve the kind of dreams that seemed out of reach before to you. So be open to the transformations that you are going to be facing or going to go through at this point. Leos, for you, we see that the transformations that are going to take place are going to be in the field of your religious, spiritual, and philosophical beliefs. And this is where you are going to face the majority of your struggles as you try to really understand how do you let these kind of ideals and belief systems really define your self-image and probably also trickle down into your moral values, and where you're going to face the amount of restriction or struggle is going to come from your partners, be it romantic or business, because the kind of changes that you're going through at this point or the transformations that you're making in your morals and values is really kind of changing who you really perceive yourself to be or who you're projecting yourself to be. And this is where people around you might find it difficult to come to terms with who you're becoming. They can create roadblocks in your journey or your paths to be able to redefine your own value systems. And this is where you have to manage how much do you let others influence the kind of journey you're undertaking at this point. As Venus goes retrograde in your 12th house later, you will really have to get comfortable with the process of loss and transformation, as you will have to shed certain personal views about comfort, certain views about security, as you deal with the process of loss of probably identity or the loss of affections or pleasures that you sought previously before your new set of values or morals were being developed during this process of self-exploration. Virgos, for you, we see that the major transformations are going to take place in your ability to be able to really let go of control and be able to adapt and be able to be flexible enough to really absorb the kind of changes that are happening in your life in a very sudden fashion, and to be able to make yourself malleable enough that whatever circumstances are being thrown at you at this point, you're able to adapt with them rather than losing control and finally, spiraling into a state of having no control over your circumstances. And you need to be able to also understand that the kind of resistance that you might face during this time period is probably going to come from your workspace, wherein you can feel that the kind of network circles that you have around you at your workspace clinging you to this sense of precision and repetition that you are very easily aligned with. And this is where you have to understand that you are not just your work or the kind of people that you are aligned with at work, but you have an identity which is transcending that. And that is where you will have to work at the level of perfectionism and the level of control that you generally seek in your day-to-day life, and be able to really maneuver through the kind of challenges that you will face and the transformations that are being put in your path right now. Because as we go through the whole process of being able to lose your identity and being able to be comfortable with the kind of things that you are having to let go of, you will further be able to really analyze what sort of goals that you have kept for yourself, or what sort of dreams when it pertains to especially your financial abundance that you have cultivated. And you'll be able to go back and assess the kind of importance that you place at financial abundance in your life, and how much of that really ties in with the kind of identity that you really want to assume for yourself right now. Libra, for you, we see that the majority of the transformations that are going to happen during this time period is going to be in the realm of your partnerships, be it your romantic or your business partnerships. And this is where you will really have to assess changes that are happening in your dynamics right now, and really understand how these changes are leading you to understand how to develop a sense of security within self, rather than depending onto a system of codependence, and being able to really extricate your identity from not just being a part of a partnership, but also claiming and reclaiming the kind of identity that you have individualistically separate from this union. And where you will find the sort of resistance during this transformational process will probably come from your romantic partners. This is where you will have to be able to hone into your own instinctual skills, your own gut feelings, and rather than listening to people around you, be it even your friends or your network circle, who are influencing you to stay in that same dynamic that you have been until now, because it suits them the best, you will have to charter for yourself what kind of company that you want to keep around you if you really want to progress and really want to feel better about yourself. Because unless you do that, these kind of issues will even trickle into social image, is also going to get impacted, and it will also probably affect the kind of work that you're able to put out right now, and the kind of satisfaction that you will find in the kind of monetary benefits that you gain from your work as well. So be able to really redefine who you think you are, accept any sort of validation from either be it your friends, or be it your romantic partners, or be it even the kind of work that you do and the work accolades that you get for your efficiency. Scorpios, for you, the major transformations that are going to take place are going to be in the field of your work environment as well as your health, wherein you will have to take stock of how you are able to really adapt to the kind of changes or transformations that are taking place in your work environment right now, and be able to maneuver things without becoming too attached to the outcome of your work profile. As well as you will have to take care of what kind of emotional regulations that you have set in space to be able to deal with these kind of changes that you're facing outwardly right now, so that you can make peace inwardly as well. Because there are chances that you will have to struggle with a sense of restriction that comes from your environment, where a support system like your parents or your support system like your friends can actually be influencing you to stay put with the kind of toxic environment that might be created at this point. Hence, you will have to be able to make a decision for yourself, wherein you have to be able to make a choice as to Would you want to be in that environment wherein your public image and your work profile is also getting affected? Or would you rather be able to let go of the outcome that your work is really being able to make right now, and rather focus on what sort of values and morals do you pertain to yourself, and is that aligning with the kind of work or the sort of circumstances that are being shown to you right now? Because once retrograde Venus comes about, you will have to deal with the religious, spiritual, or philosophical beliefs that you harbor, because they will make you really understand what sort of situations are right now acceptable or non-acceptable to your growth. Vegetarians, for you, the majority of the transformational events that are going to take place are going to be in the realm of your self-identity and ego, wherein you will have to understand how the kind of interests or the creative pursuits that you want to undertake are really shaping a person that you really are. There could be some sort of romantic connections that you have sought up until this point that might actually make you understand what kind of changes that you really need to make in your personality, sense of self that you have, in order to really make peace with your own identity or your own self, and where you can feel restrictions might come about in this process of realization might come about from people that you have close by. Let's say, be it even the kind of people you correspond with every day, or say like neighbors, be it your work neighbors or your home neighbors or whatever, and even your siblings who might not be conducive or accepting of these kind of changes that you're having in your personality or your self-identity. And this is where you will have to really be able to understand from the struggle what you really want your identity and personality to become, irrespective of whatever the people around you are saying or wanting the kind of changes to be. And you have to let the creative pursuits or the interests that you might have left behind to be able to pick them up again, and basically be a catalytic force to help you to rediscover yourself and your self-identity. Because if you do not let that happen, and you do not understand the kind of morals and the kind of values that you inhabit, you will have to deal with later a sort of transformation that comes about out of nowhere. And this is where you will have to deal with sudden changes that happen even in your love life, and even in your life in general, of what things you hold close to you, what kind of things you cherish. And this is why you need to really workshop and understand what it is that you really feel like your identity is. Otherwise, you will be forced to really rediscover what you like and what you don't, but not from your choice, but rather from the circumstances being forced upon you. So it's better to choose what you would want to like and dislike without those influences from others, and also the sort of circumstantial changes that might occur otherwise. Capricorns, for you, the majority of the transformations that are going to take place is going to be in your realm of family and home. This is where you are going to right now be able to notice these kind of changes in the dynamics that you hold with your family and familial bonds that you have had up until this point, wherein you will be forced to really be able to confront certain truths that have been lying dormant, which will basically transform how you view your own self as a part of the family, and what kind of values that you want to pertain to your self-identity. Because the kind of struggles that will come about when restrictions are being put to this process is going to be basically from your family and the kind of values that they hold. And this is where you will have to decide if you want to make the choices of your self-identity based to whatever values or whatever systems that your family has, or rather you want to be able to make the choice of how you want to be the part of that familial unit despite the values or morals that you might personally have. Because if that does not happen and you're not able to really rediscover what sort of values, be it even occult systems that you believe in, are really influencing your personality right now, or the kind of perceptions that you have, you will further find it difficult to even connect on those things with other people, as well as retrograde Venus will take place in your seventh house, hindering your ability to be able to connect with people in partnerships, be it romantic or business. Hence, be able to make really sure that you're able to rediscover and define the value systems that you want to adopt for yourself, despite having whatever family values that you have had up until this point, and be able to really discover the unmentionable or the unspoken of kind of value systems that you want to currently believe in, or you have an interest in exploring right now. Otherwise, it will impact your ability to connect with people as you become confused about your own set of values and morals. Aquarius, for you, we see that the majority of transformations that will take place is going to be in the realm of your identity that is derived from the kind of hard work or the kind of results that you achieve from the amount of work that you put in to your dreams and your aspirations. And this is where you will have to kind of transform. How much do you let your identity be defined by the outcome of your work that has been put behind achieving your goals? Because there can be the possibility wherein hard work that you put into achieving certain things might not necessarily yield the outcome that you want. And this is where you will feel the restriction arise from your self-image, wherein it will become difficult to be able to really make peace with that your ability to achieve certain outcomes is intrinsically linked with your self-worth. You will have to work at separating those two things and not defining yourself only on the basis of the kind of results that you can achieve or the outcomes that you're able to arrive at based on the work that you put behind certain goals or desires. Because if you're not able to become more community oriented or more partnership oriented rather than only focusing on your own result, then you are going to further struggle with the sense of fulfillment that you derived from work prior. And this is where you will have to be very careful to not be completely focused on the results that you're achieving from your work, but rather redefine how you want to do certain things despite of the outcome, just because you love to do those things and they bring you a sense of fulfillment, alignment, as well as self-identity. Pisces, for you, the majority of transformation that is going to happen will be in the realm of your finances, wherein you will have to deal with the kind of value of self-worth that you attach to the kind of financial stability or the kind of financial security that you're able to achieve for your family. You will have to really be able to come to terms with the fact that your identity is not just based on the kind of finances that you can provide for your family, but it is also intrinsically aligned with what sort of values that you want to really imbibe from your familial system. And this is where you can feel a sort of restriction come about in this sort of journey of self-discovery, wherein you will have to be able to really understand and accept the concept of monetary loss and be able to make peace with the fact that not always is the financial outcome really in your hand. So be able to really distance yourself from the kind of financial outcomes that your decisions, be it investment or finances related, are really making right now. Be able to be okay with the sense of loss, because if you're not, then you're going to struggle with your identity when it comes to being a provider financially. And this is where you will have to rather focus on systems of, let's say, lending that you can depend on if you are in a financial crunch. Because if you don't do that and you're not able to receive some sort of help from some sort of loan or a lending scheme, then you will have to finally deal with loss that comes from investing above and beyond into speculative investment strategies, wherein you know that you have assumed a higher risk, but you will further have to deal with higher financial losses because you are in a desperate sense of wanting to achieve more financially. So be very careful of how you want to really maneuver your financial and investment based decisions, and don't let them be solely based on your desperate need to be able to hold on to that identity of being a financial provider to your family. That is going to be crucial for your development and evolution and transformation during this period of time. And with all these personalized predictions, I come to the end of this video. I hope the predictions have resonated with you regarding what sort of changes that you will have to go through during this process of Jupiter's transit into Bharani Nakshatra. You can also check out my Patreon page, wherein all the transit analysis as well as monthly horoscope are being uploaded on an early access basis. And if you want to join the Patreon page, then please come on over and join to the community. I will see you soon with the next video. And please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so that you can stay updated with all the videos that will be released on this channel. Thank you.